We are now finally moving on to our last topic for Lesson 1 General Overview of Humanities. In this video, we will be discussing the scope of humanities in the field of fine arts. This topic will cover the following forms of art: visual arts, literature, music, drama and theater, and dance. So first, let's talk about the visual arts. Visual arts are those that we perceive with our own eyes. There are two categories under the visual arts. So we have the graphic arts and the plastic arts. Graphic arts covers any visual artistic representation in which portrayals of forms and symbols are recorded on a two-dimensional surface. That includes your painting, which is the process of applying pigment to a surface to secure effects involving forms and colors. Drawing would also belong under the graphic arts. Drawing is the art of representing something by lines made on a surface, or the process of portraying an object, scene, or forms of decorative or symbolic meaning through the lines, shading, and textures in one or more colors. Also under graphic arts, we have relief printing. Relief printing is the process whereby unwanted portions of design are cut away on the master image, and then the printed image is formed by the remaining surface. So examples of these are linoleum cuts, wood cuts, and wood engravings. We also have dry point. So in this process, the artist draws directly on a metal plate with a sharp needle and scratches lines or grooves into the metal. For each print, ink is rubbed into the grooves and the unscratched surface is wiped clean. In printing, the ink in the grooves is transferred into the paper. Meanwhile, etching, also an example of graphic arts, is the process of producing drawings or designs on metal plates covered with wax. And then the needle penetrates wax to the surface of the plate. And then the plate is then dipped in acid, which eats the lines into the metal. For printing, etched lines are filled with ink, which is transferred to the paper. Lithography is also an example of the graphic arts. Lithography is the process of printing from a flat stone or metal plate by a method based on the repulsion between grease and water. The design is put on a surface, and then the surface is treated so that the ink adheres only to areas where drawing has been done. And then ink is transferred to the paper in printing. Silk screen. In this process, silk is stretched over a rectangular frame and unwanted portions in the design are blocked out. And then pigment is forced through the clear areas. For multicolor prints, a separate screen is used for each color. Commercial art is also an example of the graphic arts. So this includes design of books, advertisements, signs, posters, and other displays to promote sale or acceptance of product, service, or idea. Under graphic arts, we also have mechanical processes. Mechanical process is a process developed by commercial printers for rapid, large quantity reproduction of words and pictures in one or more colors. And lastly, as an example of the graphic arts, we have photography. Photography is a chemical mechanical process by which images are produced on sensitized surfaces by action of light. Reproductions may be in black or white or in full colors of the original. Let us now move on to another category of the visual arts. Plastic arts includes all fields of the visual arts in which materials are organized into three-dimensional forms. For example, architecture. Architecture is the art of designing and constructing buildings and other types of structures. So various materials used in architecture include stone, concrete, brick, wood, steel, glass, and plaster. Architecture is often referred to as the mother of arts because it houses, serves as the background for, or occurs in relation to other arts such as painting, sculpture, interior design, landscape architecture, and city planning. Related to that, we also have landscape architecture as an example of the plastic arts. So, landscape architecture is the planning of outdoor areas for human use and enjoyment, especially gardens, parks, playgrounds, and golf courses. Chief materials to landscape architecture include plants, trees, shrubs, flowers, vines, and ground cover. Interior design is also an example of the plastic arts. Interior design is the term that is used to designate design and arrangement of architectural interiors for convenience and beauty. So interior design class, it includes backgrounds, so the walls, the floors, the ceilings, furnishings and accessories of an interior. And that also includes the design of wallpapers, furniture, textiles. So the textiles or the fabric that we use for curtains and upholstery. Sculpture would also belong under the plastic arts. So this refers to the design and construction of three-dimensional forms representing nature or natural objects, or imaginary, sometimes abstract shapes. So common materials that are used in sculpture are stone, wood, clay, and metal. Crafts. So crafts would also belong under the plastic arts. So this includes designs and making objects by hand. So it includes ceramics, jewelry, leatherwork, and weaving. If the following, ceramics, jewelry, leatherwork, and weaving, are mass produced, then they can be classified as industrial design. So, what is industrial design? So, it refers to the design of objects for machine production. So, examples are the aesthetics of our automobiles or household appliances, or also items that we wear. That would also include our footwear. Dress and costume design is also an example of the plastic arts. So this covers the design of wearing apparel of all types. So that includes your dresses, coats, suits, shoes, ties, and the like. And lastly, as an example for plastic arts, we have theater design. So that includes the design of settings for dramatic productions. Let us now move on to another form of art, literature. Literature is the art of combining spoken or written words and their meanings into forms which have artistic and emotional appeal. Under literature, we have drama, or a story recreated by actors on a stage in front of an audience. Essays are also a form of literature. An essay is a non-fiction expository, meaning descriptive or explanatory form of writing, ranging from informal, personal topics to closely reasoned critical treatments of important subjects. Prose fiction is also an example of literature. So this includes narratives or stories created by the author as distinguished from true accounts. So the term fiction, it comes from the Latin word which means to form, or to invent, or to feign. Fiction is generally divided into novel, novelette, and short story forms. So a novel or a short story, it describes characters and events which the author has invented. So these kinds of stories, they may be based on real life events, but most of it is invented or feigned or just formulated. Poetry is also another form of literature. So it is a written work of highly expressive nature using words, the choice of words, create emotional images. So under poetry, we have narrative, which includes epics, romances, and ballads. And we also have lyrical poetry, which includes forms like the sonnet, ode, elegy, and song. There are also other forms of writing which we could consider as literature, and that includes history, biography, letters, journals, and diaries. Another form of art is music. So music class is the art of arranging sounds in rhythmic succession and generally in combination. From this sequence and from this combination of sounds, melody and harmony is the result. So music is not only a performing art, it is both creative and a performance art at the same time. Common forms of music are songs, march, sonata, fantasy, concerto, and symphony. Under music, we have vocal music. Vocal music is composed primarily to be sung. So voice or voices are generally accompanied by one or more instruments. There are also forms of music that are not sung, such as instrumental music. So this form of music is written for instruments of four general types, and that includes keyboard, for example, piano or organ. We also have stringed, and that involves the use of instruments like the violin, cello, and the guitar. We also have wind, which makes use of instruments such as the flute and the clarinet. We also have brass winds, which makes use of instruments like the trumpet and the saxophone, and percussion, which use the likes of drums and xylophone. There is also a kind of music which is combined with the other arts, and among those are the opera, operetta, and musical comedy. Opera is a drama set to music. It is mostly or entirely sung with orchestral accompaniment. It is spectacularly staged with accomplished singers, elaborate scenery, and costumes. Meanwhile, operetta and musical comedy are also a drama set to music, but is light, more popular, and its themes are mostly romantic or oftentimes humorous or comic. We also have oratorio and cantata. So this kind of music are sacred and are in the form of musical drama in concert form. So these are made up of recited parts and choruses with orchestral accompaniment. In oratorio and cantata, no action and sets and costumes are used. What makes it special is that they are usually based on biblical themes. Next, we have drama and theater. A drama or play is a story recreated by actors on a stage in front of an audience. Under drama and theater, we have tragedy. So, tragedy is one of literature's greatest dramatic art forms. It is a form of drama known for its serious nature, in which the central character comes to some sad or disastrous ending. Under drama and theater, we also have melodrama. In this type of drama, the emphasis is on the action rather than on the character. So when we say or we call someone melodramatic, usually we're referring to someone who is exaggerated or overreacting. So when we say melodrama, no, we can imagine someone or a person who behaves that way. Under drama and theater, we also have comedy. So generally, comedy includes all plays with happy endings. For example, romantic comedy. Usually in rom-com, the lovers are in some dilemma and later on, this dilemma will be solved with a happy ending. Another example of comedy is farce, which is a light, humorous play. So the emphasis here is on jokes, humorous physical action, ludicrous situations, and improbable characters. So in Philippine cinema, the best examples for that would be the films of Vice Ganda. For example, The Private Benjamin. Lastly, an example of comedy is the comedy of manners, sometimes called drawing room comedy. So this type of comedy is more sophisticated, sometimes satirical. So the characters are usually high society types, and situations have little to do with real life. So other examples of drama would include tragic comedy, miracle and mystery plays, morality plays, closet drama, and piano drama. And last but not the least, we have dance. Dance involves the movement of the body and feet in rhythm. Under dance, we have ethnologic dances, which includes folk dancing associated with national and cultural groups. Under dance, we also have social or ballroom dances. So these are popular types of dancing, generally performed by pairs. So example of our social and or ballroom dances include waltz, foxtrot, rumba, and tango. Right here, we also have ballet. Ballet is the formalized type of dance which originated in the royal courts of the Middle Ages. Ballet may either be performed solo or in groups. And if you have seen a ballet or experienced ballet, this is a form of dance with mimetic actions accompanied by music. So these are dances that are generally built around a theme or story. This one we are more familiar with, modern dances, also sometimes called contemporary or interpretative dances. These dances represent rebellion against the classical formalism of ballet. These form of dances emphasize personal communication of moods and themes. So in the past, movements were natural and untrained. But today, there are varied styles of movements that are usually based on the current trend, and those are modern dances. And lastly, we also have musical comedy. So these are dances either performed solo also or in groups or in chorus, in theaters, nightclubs, motion pictures, and in television. So it is a combination of various forms. And we commonly see this in Bollywood. In Philippine cinema, this is also evident. If you are a fan of Dolphy, his movies usually end with a song and dance number. So that is musical comedy. So for this semester, expect that we will be discussing and appreciating more of these art forms. If you have any questions regarding the topic, feel free to comment below or to send me a message. So we are now 25% done with our coverage for the midterm. For our next video, we will be discussing Lesson 2, the methods of presenting art subjects.